Hi, welcome back to Improvement Roulette. Today we are going to talk about overproduction, and we also chose property management. So we're going to give some examples of that. I'm Amanda Zimmerman. I'm a Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt, and I've been doing this for over 10 years. Yesterday we talked about another waste. We talked about not using people well or skills. So today this is actually another one within that tool set, which is the waste of overproduction or excess production. So Toyota originally had 7 wastes that they identified, wastes in our processes. These are steps that don't add value, that just cost us money. So if we can reduce or eliminate these as much as possible, the more money we have to do well in our businesses, right? So no matter what type of business you are, this is one that you can take a look at. Now, I think this is a particularly good one if you have like an Etsy business or a business where you have inventory that is really easy for it to start to add up. So if you have beading, if you have soaps, these are places where maybe you have more than is needed before it is needed. So that is overproduction, when you have more finished goods before they are needed, right? Or so many that the demand will never catch up. So if you look at some sellers, you can see that maybe they have an inventory of 1,000 items. So they have 1,000 items that are ready to go out immediately, but they're only selling maybe 100 a week. So it's going to take them 10 weeks to go through all that inventory. Now, what if they're only selling 10 items a week, right? So you can start to get an idea of how much inventory, how many weeks of inventory you might actually have. So overproduction. So I said we're going to give an example here in Dubai for property management. Somebody had mentioned that Dubai might be a good city to talk about for this. I think definitely when you look at COVID, this is a place where we had a really big gap between demand and the amount of properties that we had on the market. In addition, as jobs changes, as economics changed, you had more properties come out on the market. So let's say you are a property manager and you had properties that were coming on the market in March or April of last year. You would have had probably more properties available than you could rent, especially if you were looking for long-term renters. So if you're working with maybe a corporate client and now you're ready to go ahead and get these corporate clients on board, it might take you much longer to find someone to fill that 12-month contract. So what you could do in that situation is you could pivot a bit and try to just sell 1-month contracts. So try to make them a little bit smaller. Now, one issue I've seen in property management is when you think you have someone that's going to stay on your property short term, and you purchase, so some properties that you go to, they actually purchase some goods for you. They might have like milk and eggs and some items waiting there for you. Well, what if that person doesn't actually go to that property? So I imagine during COVID, we had times where we had a lot of people expected. So if you were doing this for your properties and prepped them, you had a lot of food maybe that went to waste. So this is a place where you overproduced. You had more than is needed or before it is needed. The example I always give of overproduction is of a friend that lives in Alaska. So he purchased a vehicle and he got it at an amazing deal. And the reason he got it at an amazing deal was because it had been on the lot for over a year, a brand new car. A brand new car. So they had ordered too many vehicles and they had kept them up there because there weren't people actually purchasing them. So this was a cost to them. They had to maintain these vehicles. They had to clean the snow off. They had to make sure that they kept driving. They had to have people take a look at them, right? There's a lot of costs associated with that. In the same way, if we look at that property management in Dubai during this transitionary time where we might have too many units, we've overproduced that item, we have too many units ready to be settled into. We have to maintain those units. They may need to be cleaned. Maybe we had them cleaned and ready to be moved into with some fresh items in there like milk or eggs or bread. And now it's going to be 6 months before someone gets in there. So we have all those costs of doing the ads, of keeping that unit clean, of making sure that it's safe and secure, all of those costs that we have associated with that, with maybe very few renters. right? So that cost starts to add up. Now, these wastes, when I talk about these wastes, these are opportunities for us to see places that maybe we didn't have as much visibility of. So if we could be more flexible to that this was an issue and we could change faster to adjust to our customers' demand, we would be more flexible to that change, right? We would be able to better serve our customers at a lower cost. So these wastes are really there for you to get ideas on how to improve. So I know with these ones, they're less about like, let me come up with a fancy solution. And those ones are really more about identifying what waste is. Now, not all the items in our process improvement or continuous improvement toolkit are identifying waste. That's just one of the types of improvement tools that we have. As I've said before, I have over 150 different tools in here that I'm choosing from for us to look at. So tomorrow we're going to talk about data collection, and we're going to look particularly at an electrical contractor. So if you're an electrical contractor, why on earth would you want to collect data, and what type of benefit could that be to you? So that's what the topic is going to be tomorrow. Now, I know it is a holiday tomorrow, so we may or may not actually be on live. I might get a red mark on my tracking here so we can see today. I got that third one there. Tomorrow, it might be red. I don't know. I hope not, but we'll see. I'm going to keep trying to do these always between 10 and noon. I know I was later today because I had a class, but I hope tomorrow to be here between 10 and noon, and we're going to talk about data collection. This is really, really important that you have a data collection plan so that you can make sure that you understand how to improve. A lot of people have reached out to me about marketing challenges. If you have marketing challenges, you better understand your data, because this is going to tell you whether or not people are actually responding to the marketing that you're putting out. So that might be the example that we use tomorrow with that electrical contractor. So as always, I'm so glad that you joined us today, and I hope that you work to make I hope that we help you make your work a little bit better each and every day so that you don't have to work so hard.